Our next guest tonight is the Lagos State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Mr. Gbenga Omotosho, who joins us live in our Lagos studio. Mr. Omotosho, it's good to have you on the program tonight.
Thank you very much.
Well, we started the program with the flooding situation across the country, and Lagos is not exempted from this. And I'd like to start off from an update regarding that, because there are lots of people in Lagos who maybe have been impacted, some who have fears. They're seeing the water level rising around their areas, and are wondering, what is going on? What are we going to do? Okoba, Agege, even a Sherry area, the border with Ogun State. I recall there's been some sort of a warning, as it were. But by means of an update, in terms of the response prevention, just how much of the Ecological Fund has been utilized in the response to the flooding here?
Well, thank you very much for raising this question. But first, I would like to say that the governor, Mr. Bayode Sanwo-Olu, and his team, they deserve kudos for what they have done about flooding in Lagos. If you look at other states where they are suffering, Kogi, for example, the capital city is immersed in water. If you look at Anambra, if you look at Taraba, if you look at so many other states, people are leaving their homes. And in Pakistan, people are dying in hundreds. In Florida, everybody's having a headache. And so many other places all over the world. But in Lagos, you don't have this kind of situation, because we have a government that is proactive, because of the kind of investment we have made in our drainage system, which is working, in our cleaning our drains. And then what you have said about people, running up and down, is because they got warnings, early warnings. About 3 times we have said through the media that people should prepare, because the weatherman said that this year Lagos is going to experience more rains. But fortunately, because of the preparation that we have made, we have not seen the kind of flooding you have seen in other places. What you see in Lagos are flash floods. Lagos is just about 0.24% below sea level. So it is expected that you have much water in Lagos, and whenever it rains for hours, you will have flood. But these are mere flash floods, which will just disappear in 2 hours, in 3 hours. About 8 rivers all over the place, River Ajara, River Osun, River Ogun, they discharge into Lagos. So where we don't even have a very solid drainage system that cater for this volume of water, like a Dumagbo area, we have a pumping station that we have put in there, a machine that pumps the water into the lagoon without any effect on the property in the place. So anybody who sees what we have done about preparing for this day that has come in so many other parts of the world, but in Lagos, that we are just hearing about it, it has not touched us. So it's a lot of work that we have done. It's a lot of investment that we have made, a lot of improvement on the drainage system that was built in 2011, that we reworked in 2012, and then we are maintaining up to today.
Right. So this question is, I mean, yes, the things you have said, the approach of the government, but it's also about accountability, because questions have been asked, the federal government, the Ecological Fund, what is happening to it? So from the perspective of the state, because that's also been an issue, how much of that have you utilized? Are you getting the Ecological Fund? Is it being used?
If you are talking about the Ecological Fund, we know that what Lagos is spending on what I'm telling you, the result has shown we are spending much more than we are getting in terms of Ecological Fund. If you look at what has happened, for example, in so many others, Kogi, Anambra, Taraba, and the rest of them, you will know that Lagos State has really invested in this. But the kind of investment that I tell people that you don't see, you just feel it, you just hear about it. And you are feeling it because if you drive on Lagos roads now, it's not flooded. There are some state capitals you can't drive. There are some parts of some local governments you can't go there at all because of the flooding. So the Ecological Fund that we are getting, I cannot tell you specifically now that it's X amount of money, but I tell you it's nothing compared to our investment in our drainage system, in our investment in the drains. We have about 222 secondary drains. All of them are being cleaned. Right. That is why you don't have the roads being flooded.
For residents around the border who will be affected by the Oyo Dam release and all of that, their fears, they're seeing the water level rising. What plans does the government have for them specifically, and others who have been affected as well, in terms of maybe relocation, in terms of some sort of succor? What plans, and how can they access this plan?
Now, I think, I do not think because of all the things that we have put in place, it's going to get to a stage that we will have to see IDPs, the kind that we are seeing in Bayelsa, the kind that we are seeing in Kogi and some other places. It's not going to happen in Lagos. That is why we have these early warning signals. Once the weatherman said people should watch out for more rains this year, we alerted our people who are staying in low-lying areas, Owode, Oniri area, and such places, Ajegunle, that they should try to move. And up to today, many of them are not moving, and yet the water has not driven them away from their homes.
Right.
And then the water level that is rising that you are seeing, it is natural.
So it's no cause for worry for those residents?
I do not think it's any cause for worry, okay, but it's very good to take precautions.
Okay.
You know,
because, I mean, it rained today, and naturally looks like there will be more rains. Yes, we needed to resolve that issue. It's an ongoing one, but just to get people to know what to expect and what to do regarding the flood. But let's talk about some other issues around governance. Recently, we had the governorship candidate of the PDP on the program, and he said that he was quite confident, actually, about defeating your party at the election, saying that the people of Lagos want a breath of fresh air, which he represents. And he talked about what he described as misgovernance in Lagos State, utilization of funds, how he believes that it's not showing on the ground, regardless of the quantum of funds coming into Lagos. I know you're aware of that statement, and I wonder, do you agree with him?
I will never agree with him. Because we are talking about somebody who has not tasted governance before, doesn't know what it is, who doesn't even know what the GDP of Lagos is, who does not know that it's not like planning an event, who does not know that it's not like writing a script for a movie. You know, we are talking about all of the good things that Mr. Bayede Sanwo-Olu have done and has done, and then Lagosians that they are seeing. Only on Wednesday, last week Wednesday, we commissioned 15 brand new schools. 15 brand new schools, 150 blocks of classrooms, and then 1,386 bed space hostels. And then somebody will say, he has not seen this. We are building iconic schools in Elemoro. The Elemoro school is an 18-classroom school, which is, you know, something that has not been seen in these parts. It has a sick bay, it has laboratories, it has sporting facilities. The kind of sporting facilities there, they are good enough for any national team to practice on. It has a staff room. I mean, students are, you know, happy to go there. Or you want to talk about the wetland school here in Agege, which we built with containers. It's the first of its kind in West Africa. And, you know, it has touchscreen blackboards, which is interactive. The teacher doesn't need to hold a chalk. It has sorting facilities that are there. Students are very happy going to such schools because the furniture is comfortable, because everything that you have there is just brand new, well lit. You know, some of them, they have 24-hour electricity because it is powered by solar. So if anybody says he has not seen this, or you want to talk about our RAID program, the red line that we are building. When is it coming on board? The red line is coming on board by God's grace, and the blue line at the end of this year. And by the first quarter of next year, they are going to be ready for operations. So but there is one good thing. We'll be able to use them from next year? Yes. Okay. But is that before the end of this administration, or? Of course, the first quarter of next year I'm talking about. Right. There is one important thing I would like people to know about the red line. The red line is the only red line that was charted in the administration of Mr. Bayede Sanwo-Olu on April 15, 2021. We did the groundbreaking. We paid about 7,000 residents money to go on, 5,000 residents to go on, you know, for the inconvenience that we are giving them, the property that have been destroyed, to pave way for the red line to go and, you know, get new accommodation. And that's the first time that kind of thing is done in Nigeria. Right. You pay people who are tenants. The landlords, all of them are paid same day. And then, you know, we are building 5 overpasses so that when the train begins to run, you don't have to contest the road with vehicles. 5 overpasses in Yabao, Oyingbo, in Ikeja, in Agbado, you know, so in Agege too. So if you look at that, and you look at the blue line too, and the two of them coming on board simultaneously, by the first quarter of next year, and then somebody is saying that he has not seen what Mr. Bayede Sanwo-Olu has done. Has he not seen the hospitals? So one of the points he made, Commissioner, is about the
the quality of life of Lagosians, and I mean, you've spoken to some of the projects, but you recall that recently Lagos was ranked the second worst place to live according to the EIU, that's the Economist Intelligence Unit, and you ranked Lagos across some different factors, talked about Lagos scoring 20 in stability, that's out of a possible 100%, 20.8 in healthcare, 44 in culture and environment, 25 in education, 46.4 in infrastructure, 171 out of 172. And looking at that ranking, it is just next to Damascus in Syria. I imagine you're aware of that. So in light of that ranking, what do you have to say?
You see, it's not only this ranking that we are talking about. There are so many dubious figures that are being bandied all over the place.
So you call this
when
one
they
by
want
the
to talk,
Economist Intelligence
if you see people,
dubious?
if you see people believe in Lagos, if you see people who are proud of Lagos, there are so many figures that they want to give you that will make your heart, you know, to be joyful.
No, this is
Lagos,
from the Economist Intelligence Unit, EIU.
If it's Economic
so Economist Intelligence Unit is part of the body that publishes The Economist, which I imagine that you're well aware of.
Yes. And I am now telling you that I've seen so many good stories published in Economist.
So you say this
about
is dubious?
Nigeria. I do not agree with that figure.
You do not agree? So
because of what I'm seeing in Lagos. I live in Lagos. I'm not traveling from London to come and represent economists here in Lagos and spend a week and say I've done the research.
So to be fair, really, the top 10 cities in the world, Vienna, Copenhagen, Zurich, and all of them, where would you rank Lagos? So 100 to 100, 1 to 172. Where do you think Lagos ranks? Maybe
it depends on the parameters.
No, at least for you, where would you say that Lagos ranks?
I'm telling you that, you know, I've just returned from New York. Lagos is the pride of the black man. Lagos has, you know, the kind of GDP of about 5 countries in Africa.
So essentially, Lagos is comparable with New York.
Lagos is about the 98th richest city in the world and number 4 in Africa. All of these figures, those who don't love Lagos, they will not look at them. They'll be talking about Lagos not livable. It's the second worst livable city in the world, yet they come here and have their businesses. So if Lagos is such a bad place, why is it that foreign companies are falling over themselves to come and invest in Lagos?
Right, so
Lagos is attracting the biggest foreign direct investment in Africa.
So just to be fair, to get your final thoughts, you think that Lagos deserves to be ranked better?
I think so.
I think 100, so. 50, 10.
I think so. And it's a challenge to all our local researchers that unless we take up this task of ranking ourselves and researching into all of the things that we need and drawing the parameters by ourselves, we cannot get anywhere.
Well, I would need to anchor at this point. Clearly, lots of issues to discuss, but because of time, I'd like to thank you so much, Mr. Gbenga Omotosho, the Commissioner for Information and Strategy in Lagos State. Thank you so much for your time. I will definitely be getting updates on the work of the government from time to time. Well, that's been the program for tonight, Sunday Politics. I'm Kayode Okikilu. Don't worry, it gets more interesting. These issues will be raised, will be discussed and analyzed just for you. Good night.